Attorney Schnipper is here. He reached out to us earlier today. Let's see. He represents, I believe, Austin Pauls.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Falk.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. I just heard my name and I just slide off, and so I just wanted to tell you that I am here. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well, Mr. Schnipper. I hope you are as well, too. Yes, Ms. Falk just let me know that you had let her know that you were going to be here this afternoon, so we'll get to
Yes,
you
sir.
soon. We'll get
Yes,
to you
sir.
soon.
Whatever, at the court's discretion. Yes, sir.
All right, very good. Happy to have you. Mr. Jordan, are you with me?
Yes, Judge. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Who's going to be the litigation manager today?
It's going to be Miss Bridgewater. Her computer was updating, so she's logging on now.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay.
They about to log on.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Howard. Afternoon, Ms. Bridgewater. You're on mute, Ms. Bridgewater.
I'm so sorry. I'm eager to get started. The reset date for the SAP calendar is December the 5th.
Okay, thank you.
Your Honor, I'm not sure who the attorney is who's handling the Braithwaite case. If possible, I would like to do a breakout with myself, Ms. Makake, and the attorney.
Okay, apparently that'll be Mr. McLean. So when we are not, let's start in courtroom 2, and when he's not occupied, I'll put you all into a breakout room if it's not one of your cases as well.
Thank you.
Hey, Judge Morrow, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing well, Officer Norris. Hope you're doing well too.
Yes, sir. Do you want to start off with the private attorney case, position number 9?
Yes. Okay,
right.
That'll be fine. Thank you.
This is
And let
be
me. Position number 9, Austin Pauls, is that right?
Yes,
That is
sir.
Okay, let me just go ahead and address everyone that's in courtroom 2. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we are conducting by video. You have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. You have a right to have an attorney present at these proceedings. If you do not have a private attorney, we are providing you with the assistance of a public defender if you choose to utilize their services this afternoon. Good afternoon, Mr. Pauls. You have been charged in case 24 CR 007734D with battery family violence. It's my understanding that this is Mr. Paul's first arrest. Good afternoon, Ms. Allen.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Thank you. That is also my information. This is the first arrest for Mr. Pauls. This is an incident that occurred yesterday, November the 20th at about 9:45 a.m. Police were called, or actually the victim in this case, Mrs. Nicole Kennedy Pauls, walked into the precinct and reported that she'd been assaulted by her husband during an argument. She showed police bruising on her stomach area and said that the assault had just occurred earlier that day. Police relocated with her to the location where they live at 680 Greenview. They spoke to the defendant, who reported that he had been in the shower when there was an argument about, I think, the shower head being broken. He made a claim that they were both pushing and shoving each other, and then he got out of the shower. He was seen to have no injuries. We spoke to Mrs. Kennedy Pauls today. She reports they're married, they live together, and they share a child. She reported being in the shower complaining about water pressure. The defendant actually got upset. He came in and kept turning the water off while she was in the shower. And at one point he came and pulled her out of the shower and punched her in the stomach. This knocked the wind out of her. She did not seek medical attention, but obviously this scared her, and this incident of violence is something that she felt she needed to report to the police. She does say that this is the first time he's ever been violent with her, but he is verbally abusive. We're asking for a $2,000 SOB, Your Honor, through pretrial, an order that says no violent contact with either Mrs. Nicole Kennedy Pauls or anyone else in that family. They share a child. I'm not sure how old that child is. Perhaps DVIP would be appropriate at this point, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And if you could sound for Mrs. Kennedy Pauls.
Ms. Kennedy Pauls, I see you there. If you would like to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. I'll need to for you to unmute yourself for me there, and I'll need to swear you in if you choose to.
Hi.
Okay. Yes, good afternoon. Good
Hi, good
afternoon.
afternoon. I agree with the majority of that, except
hold
the
on.
mayor.
Okay, 1 second for me. Can you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can place your hand down, Ms. Kennedy Pauls. Yes, what would you like to tell the court?
I agree with the majority of that statement, but we weren't pushing each other. I don't agree with that. That's all.
All right, so it's my understanding that you want him back in the household?
I think no violent contact is fair. This is a first offense for him, and I've never felt in danger like this before. So I think.
Okay, so I'm not asking you what's fair. What I'm asking you is do you want him back in the household at this point in time? Are you afraid of him?
I don't know how to answer that question. I think.
Okay, it seems to me like you're still distressed about this incident. Is that fair to say? Yeah. Yes, ma'am. And I know this is hard for you. Okay, so I think that it would be good if you all took some time apart. So
The state's in agreement, Your Honor. Thank you.
okay, all right. Thank you for being here this afternoon, ma'am. Yes, Mr. Schimper.
Your Honor, again, as you stated, this is Mr. Paul's first arrest. He's 40 years old. He's lived in the Atlanta area about 6 years. Works for a company called Loyal. They're a medical record software company. In the just finance and helps run that company. He's a high school graduated from University of Notre Dame in South Bend in 2006 in accounting. They do share a 6-year-old daughter named Amelia. He does live in Fulton County, 680 Greenview Way, Northeast Atlanta, 30305. Does some charitable work with Christ the King. Your Honor, based on the Ayala factors, I do feel what you stated is a fair and reasonable bond. He's obviously not a flight risk, no criminal history, just not a threat to commit any crimes. I did speak with Miss Kennedy Pauls earlier, who did voice to me on the phone that she wanted no violent contact. Understand this is a very delicate issue and so soon happening yesterday, and did have a good conversation with her. But I do agree with everything that the state did address about the bond. I was retained by Mr. Paul's family. He's got a strong support system. I do think that he will learn from this and will do whatever he can to get him through this. But do fair that what the state did request is a fair, reasonable bond. Ask that you honor that.
Okay. As such, it will be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1-day anger awareness. At this point in time, given that this has only been a day or so, no further contact with Miss Kennedy Pauls. Stay away from the 680 Greenview address. He can go back to that address on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings that he might need. Third-party transfer of the minor child for visitation, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Of course, as time goes on, if they choose, Ms. Kennedy Pauls, if you choose to want something different as far as contact goes, you can always seek modification of that term of the bond. But as for now, there's to be no contact. Okay, anything
Yes, sir.
further this afternoon?
Yes, sir.
Okay, if not, good luck to you all.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
May I be excused?
Yes, have a good afternoon.
Thank you.
Good to see you as always.
Yes, sir. You too. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yes, you too. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay, where would you like for me to go next?
ACDC.
Okay, Francois, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Judge. We have position number 4, Edge.
Okay, I don't believe that you all were on with me. Come on up.
Oh,
She can
no.
come on. She can come on up.
Okay.
Let me just address both ladies that are in there at ACDC. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. You have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. You have a right to have an attorney present at these proceedings. We're providing you with the assistance of a public defender this afternoon if you choose to utilize their services. Miss Edge, you have been charged in case 24 CR 007739E with violating the family violence order. Mr. Howard, good afternoon. Is there a history?
Right, yeah, 6 total. Got an open battery DV, simple battery. DV, cruise in the 3rd, FTA out of DeKalb County. Last arrest was this year for DUI, hit and run. Got an FTA from this year and a 2016 public intoxication conviction.
Okay. Ms. McCockey, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. How are you?
I'm doing well. Hope you are as well.
I am, thank you. This incident occurred on November 19th, 2024. The incident location is 4530 Parkway Circle in East Point. The victim in this case is Mr. Aaron Bradley, who is the defendant's stepfather. Officers were dispatched to the location regarding an individual trespassing and refusing to leave. Upon arrival, officers observed the defendant sleeping on a swing in the front porch of the residence. There is currently a TPO in place against the defendant in order to stay 200 yards away from the victim and not to have any form of contact. The victim also does have temporary custody of the defendant's minor child, who has the initials SE. Our office has spoken with Mr. Bradley, who states that the defendant has been violent towards him, and they do have a previous case, 21 CR 001906H. I believe the defendant was convicted of battery family violence in that case and was ordered to have no further violent contact with the victim. The victim further told us that he filed for a TPO because the defendant was naked on the porch and was damaging property. After he filed for the TPO, he says that the defendant came back to the residence and was attempting to assault him and take her child. He stated that him and his wife do have custody of that child. As I stated earlier, he states the defendant has a drinking problem, that she was on the property on the day of this incident, November 19th, but that she wasn't violent. He, of course, wants no contact, wants her to stay away. He says she does have some clothes there that he's okay with her retrieving with the law enforcement escort. And just to be clear, the TPO that she currently has states that she is to leave the residence and not to return. Given her previous battery family violence conviction, the fact that she has an open case and an FTA, we do not believe she is a good candidate for a signature bond. So we would be requesting a $1,500 surety, no further contact with Aaron Bradley, stay away from the incident location, and that she have random screens for alcohol and drugs, no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond. I would ask the court to sound for Mr. Aaron Bradley at this time.
Okay, and I see an Aaron on the line. If this is Mr. Aaron Bradley and you wish to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. You, of course, don't have to, but if you would like to address the court, I'll need for you to unmute yourself, activate your camera, and I'll have to swear you in.
Good afternoon. I am here.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Bradley. You're not driving, are you?
No, I'm sitting still.
Okay, very good. Can you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can place your hand down. Thank you. What would you like to tell the court?
Just to reiterate some of what the prosecutor said, as well as the defendant really cannot. I try to be diplomatic. She really has a serious alcohol problem, and we've tried to give it years for her to take care of the issue. As stated, the previous assault was 2021, and we've given her multiple opportunities to get herself together, and it just gets worse and worse because there's never really any consequence, or hasn't been before now. She just keeps getting worse. So I really hope to have her not come back to the residence unless escorted by police to get her belongings. She's welcome to come get her clothes that are still there, but otherwise just to stay away from myself and from the baby until she gets help.
Okay. Mr. Bradley, is there an order in place regarding contact or visitation with the minor child?
No, there's no order for that. We were given full autonomy with Solana until the judge ordered that she had 1 year of full employment, 1 year of being in her own residence, and then she could petition to have that, but she's never accomplished either one. So there's never been a petition for her to regain any visitation or custody of Solana.
Okay.
And the current TPO that's in place does give Mr. Bradley custody of Solana.
All right, very good. Anything further, Mr. Bradley?
No, sir, I appreciate it.
All right, thank you for being here this afternoon. We appreciate it. Good afternoon, Ms. Wright.
Hello, Your Honor. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Hope you are too.
Thank you, Your Honor. In speaking with Ms. Edge, clearly this is very complicated family matter. Ms. Edge had no idea that her parents were taking out this restraining order against her. She had been living in the home for the past 2 years. Oh, no, I'm sorry. She had lived in the home for the past 4 years. And they do have some sort of custody over her child, but she couldn't articulate what kind it was. I imagine it's some kind of temporary custody. She had come to an agreement with her mom in regards to her living there until January. Her plan was to leave at the beginning of the year. The police officers served her the order sometime after 10 p.m. Last night, which was very cold and rainy. She left, but she didn't have anywhere to go. So she returned and she was asleep on the swing in their porch. She didn't try to enter inside the home or anything like that. She wasn't asked by anyone to leave. She understands what the restraining order meant, but at the time she just couldn't, she didn't have a heads up that this was happening. So she did what she thought was safest for her. I have spoken to our social worker. I don't think that she's made it out to the jail just yet in regards to finding her not just housing, but also treatment, if that's something that she's interested in doing. I know that I believe the hearing for the restraining order is tomorrow, and I'm very concerned about that. If the court can arrange for her to be there for that hearing, I think it's really important. I know that she wants to be able to defend herself against that restraining order, because it doesn't just restrain her from her parents in the home, it restrains her from the child as well. I'm not certain how to go about that, but I'm sure we can find a way to make that work since it is in Fulton County. Aside from that, Your Honor, she does have, my understanding from the state is that she has a failure to appear from DeKalb County. And I would ask for a signature bond so that she can go straight to DeKalb and fix whatever is going on over there. I'm not informed. I can't pull that up, so I don't know what's going on over there. It's clear that she does need help, and my office is more than happy to provide that for her. So that's what we're asking for, Your Honor, is the signature bond.
I'm not inclined to give her a signature bond, and given the fact that you're telling me now that she has some type of hearing tomorrow, it might be easier if she's if she is where she is. I'm not sure who the judge is, if if they will be available by Zoom, or if they can take her over there. I guess that's something that you'll have to look into possibly for her. I do believe she needs a social worker visit. It's going to be a $2,000 good bond. No further contact with Mr. Bradley. Stay away from the Parkway Circle address. She can go back to that address on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings that she may have. At this point in time, no further contact with the minor child. A social worker visit, an alcohol, drug evaluation and treatment if necessary, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Ms. Wright, if she does not get out by the SAP date on December 5th, if you can make sure to have the public defender speak with me about what is found through the social worker. And at that time, I will take another look at the bond, okay?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you so much.
All right. Good luck to you, Miss Edge.
Number 14, West.
Good afternoon, Ms. West. You have been charged in case 24 CR 007746J with simple assault family violence, battery family violence, and simple battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Well, got open DUI, open hit and run, 2023 probation, 2022 interference with custody conviction, got 2020 FTA, 2017 battery arrest. Most of the history is driving. And got a bench one out of Roswell.
Okay, thank you. Miss Allen?
Thank you, Your Honor. This defendant has history out of Kentucky, California, and Georgia. Every state includes either a DUI arrest or a battery family violence arrest. She does have an open DUI out of Roswell. She's got a 2013 DUI conviction and a 2018 DUI and hit and run conviction. You also just heard that she's got interference with custody, a conviction here out of Fulton County from 2022. She just had a probation revocation on that, basically didn't do any of the requirements, but the time had ended for her sentence, and so her case was closed. This is an incident, Your Honor, that happened on November the 13th. Police were called to 140 Valley Drive in Roswell. That's a mobile home where the defendant was living with her mother, Renee Bosley, Bosley. At about 5 p.m., police responded. They spoke to the property owner. His name is Samuel Johnson. He reported that from outside, he could hear shouting and arguing coming from inside the location where the defendant and her mother live. He reported that the two women had been at that location living on and on over the past year. Police then spoke with the victim, Renee Bosley. She was seen to be wrapped in a towel. She had just removed her clothing because the defendant had thrown a container of vomit all over her and thrown glass items from the home, which broke all over the floor. The victim was seen to have lacerations on her legs and her feet as well. Police noted in the police report that the overwhelming smell of vomit and vomit obviously all over the floor and glass all over the floor was obvious on the scene, corroborating the victim's statements about what had just happened. Mrs. Bosley reported that there was an argument. She was looking for something in the house, and her daughter, she believed, experienced that her mother was not listening to her, and she described her daughter as flipping out. She began throwing items at her mom, including a container with vomit in it. Mom said she was fearful. She fled to the bathroom where she took off her clothes and started to change. The defendant fled in a vehicle. Someone came and picked her up. again, she was seen to have lacerations on her legs, and it was obvious that the substance that had been thrown on this woman was vomit. We attempted to get in touch with Mrs. Bosley today, but we're not successful at this point, Your Honor. We'll continue that effort. But based on the fact that there's clearly an ongoing issue here with this young woman, we're asking for a $3,000 surety. She's got an active failure to appear on that open DUI case out of Roswell. Stay away from the location there, 140 Valley Drive in Roswell. Have no contact with Renee Bosley, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And if you would sound for Ms. Bosley in case she decided to join us.
Ms. Renee Bosley is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity to do so. Doesn't appear so. Mr. McLean?
Your Honor, there's not a whole lot to add there. I just would ask the court to the overall situation. I'm going to have to actually do a social worker visit here to see if BHET is necessary. We'd like to have as low a bond as possible while we work on the social work aspect of it. The allegations are definitely the client needs some help.
All right. As such, for each charge, it'll be $1,000 good bond, makes for a total of a $3,000 good bond. No further contact with Ms. Bosley. Stay away from the Valley Drive address. She can go back to that address on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings. A social worker visit for BHET, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. West. Bless you.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, thank you all. Is that anyone else at ACDC this afternoon?
No, that is it, Judge. We're completed.
Okay.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time. Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Okay, who do we have in courtroom 2?
Your Honor, just one quick question. Did we get not a Spanish interpreter?
Mr. Jordan, do we have a Spanish interpreter today?
For position number 5?
No, Judge, but I can try to see if I get one.
Okay, we'll see if we can round one up, Norris.
Okay. Then in front of you is going to be position number 1, Mrs. Nicole Braithwaite.
Hi.
Okay, is this the one that you needed to speak with Mr. McLean on, Ms. Falk?
I already spoke with Mr. McLean.
Oh,
I
okay,
request
good.
a breakout with Your Honor and Mr. McLean.
Okay, all right. So do you want me to go into a breakout room, Norris, or do you want to complete the people that are in courtroom 2?
It's a small calendar, Your Honor. You can go into the breakout.
Okay, all right. So we'll be back as soon as we can. Mr. Jordan, I don't know if you're on the phone trying to get an interpreter or if you're still with us.
I got you, Judge.
Okay, if you can put Ms. McLean, Mr. McLean, Ms. Falk, and myself into a breakout.
Thank you.
Can you put me in there as well, Mr. Jordan?
Sir, notice who needed the Spanish interpreter?
Position number 5.
5. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay, courtroom two, we are ready to proceed. Good afternoon, Ms. Wait. Let's see, I've had the opportunity to discuss your case with both counsel and the solicitor. At this time, you have been charged in case 24 CR 007743Y with simple assault, criminal trespass. Another simple assault, simple battery, simple battery, simple battery, simple battery, simple battery, and willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer. We are going to reset you till tomorrow as we are trying to locate one of your family members in this for this matter. And we will address you again tomorrow if we do not finish up by the end of this calendar. So I'll see you back later on the calendar, Ms. Braitworth, or tomorrow.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
I see that we have Ms. Chansey on the line now. I'm not sure who
That's
needed.
That's who I'm gonna bring up right now.
Okay.
He was interviewed by Miss Anna Wright,
Okay,
so we just need the interpreter for the court.
okay, very good. Thank you. Good afternoon, Ms. Chansey. Thank you for jumping on with us this afternoon.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
If you can raise your right hand for me.
Yes,
Do you swear affirm that you will translate from English to Spanish and Spanish to English to the best of your ability?
yes, Your Honor, I do.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. And this is position number 5, Mr. Enrique Ponce. Good afternoon, Mr. Enrique Ponce. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar.
Buenas tardes, señor Enrique Ponce. Yo soy el juez Eric Morrow y este es la lista de causas de trámite rápido.
Good afternoon. You have been charged in case 24 CR 007740A with battery family violence and 2 counts of cruelty to children in the 3rd degree.
Usted ha sido en su caso número 24CR 007740A con un cargo de golpes y lesiones, violencia familiar y 2 cargos de crueldad ante un menor en el 3er grado.
Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
¿Hay antecedentes, señor Howard?
Second arrest, he got to open DUI, endangering a child by driving under the influence, out of Roswell.
Este es el, I'm sorry, el segundo arresto. Él lo tuvo por manejar bajo los efectos del alcohol, por poner en peligro a un menor al manejar bajo la influencia del alcohol.
Ms. Nakaki?
Yes, Your Honor. This incident occurred yesterday. The incident location is 2000 Riverwood Lane in Roswell.
Sí, su señoría, este incidente ocurrió ayer. El incidente tiene un domicilio en el 2000 de Riverwood Lane en Roswell.
The victim in this case is Nayeli Pacina and 2 of the party's minor children.
La víctima en este caso es Nayeli Messina y 2 de los menores en la fiesta de niños.
The defendant became upset with the victim because she was planning on going to a wedding, and the defendant proceeded to try to take her phone away from her. During the struggle over the phone, the defendant did scratch the victim on her upper lip. This scratch was observed by officers.
El acusado se enojó porque la víctima estaba planeando en ir a una boda y el acusado procedió a tratar de sacarle su teléfono. Durante esta disputa por el teléfono, el acusado la rasguñó a la víctima en el labio superior y también fue observado, es lo que observaron los oficiales.
The party's daughter, a minor by the name of AE, told officers that she saw the assault and she tried to pull her father off of her mother by grabbing his shirt, but he was too strong.
La hija de esta parte, una menor con el nombre de AE, le dijo a los oficiales que ella vio la agresión y que ella trató de sacar al padre de encima de la madre, tirándole de la camisa.
The party's son, a minor with the initials VE, stated that he was in the family room and heard a lot of banging and hitting.
La hija, el hijo de la parte, un menor con las iniciales VE, declaró que estaba en el living y que la escuchó muchos golpes y también ruidos.
Our office has spoken with Miss Pacina, and she states that the parties are married, they do live together, and share 4 children.
Nuestro oficial ha hablado con la señora Pocina y declaró que las partes están casadas y que viven juntos y tienen 4 hijos.
She stated that they have gotten into arguments in the past, but this is the first time that it has become violent, and she confirmed the events in the warrant.
Ella declaró que han tenido este tipo de disputas en el pasado, pero esta es la primera vez que se ha puesto de una manera tan violenta y ella confirmó los eventos en la orden de arresto.
She states she's not in fear of the defendant. She does want contact, but she wants him to stay away from the residence.
Ella declaró que no le teme al acusado, que ella quiere seguir teniendo contacto con él, pero que quiere que él se mantenga distanciado de la residencia familiar.
Given the fact that the defendant has an open case, the state is going to be asking for a surety bond. We're asking for a $2,000 surety bond.
Dado al hecho de que el acusado tiene un caso abierto, la fiscalía va a solicitar una fianza bajo garantía. Estamos pidiendo por una fianza bajo garantía de $2,000.
1,000 on the battery, 500 on each cruelty to children.
$1,000 por golpes y lesiones y 500 en cada caso de crueldad ante un menor.
No further violent contact with Ms. Pacina and their minor children. Stay away from the incident location. Anger awareness. No drugs, weapons, or alcohol.
No tener más contacto violento con la señora Pacina y con los hijos menores. Mantenerse distanciado del lugar donde ocurrió el incidente. Tomar una clase de manejo de la ira y queda prohibido el uso de drogas, alcohol y armas.
I would ask that you sound for Miss Nayeli Pacina. I believe she's on the Zoom.
Yes, ma'am. Nayeli Pacina, por favor, si está en la plataforma, prenda su cámara y micrófono para hablar con usted.
Okay, I'm trying to figure out how to turn the camera on. Is it on?
Nayeli.
I don't know. Can y'all see me?
It
No,
looks like your
señora.
video is running, but the camera's not on.
Señora, hay debajo un dibujito, un icono que se ve como una cámara y tiene que tocar ahí para que se prenda y la podamos ver. ¿Dónde está el micrófono? Por
Sí,
ahí.
lo estoy presionando, pero no se quita.
Siga quizás hasta que haga contacto. Your Honor, Ms. Pacina said that she's touching the video icon, but is not turning on the camera.
sure she has another device that she can join us with?
¿Tiene algún aparato u otro teléfono donde se pueda contactar con nosotros?
Sí, mi teléfono, pues,
¿Cómo? ¿Cómo, señora?
sí, en mi teléfono me voy a tratar de, I'm trying to connect on my phone.
¿Tiene otro teléfono?
This is, lo estoy haciendo by video from the computer.
¿Está tratando la computadora?
Ajá.
She's trying the computer, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. While she tries to join us, Ms. Wright,
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Enriquez Ponce, works construction. He's 37 years old. He's lived in Atlanta for 20 years. They do have 4 children together, a 15-year-old, a 12-year-old, a 10-year-old, and a 6-year-old.
be
Sí, su
mindful
señoría.
of the interpreter.
Sí, su
Sorry.
señoría, el señor Enrique Ponce trabaja en la construcción, tiene 37 años de edad y vive en Atlanta. Ha vivido por 20 años. Tienen 4 hijos juntos, uno de 15 años, otro de 12 años, uno de 10 años y otro de 6 años.
I think I heard from the state say that Ms. Pacina does not want him in the home, but does want contact. I did speak to him about this possibility that he might not be able to return to the home.
Yo creo que escuché de parte de la fiscalía que la señora Pacina no quiere que él regrese a la casa, pero sí quiere seguir teniendo contacto con él. Yo hablé con mi cliente acerca de esto y de la posibilidad de que él no pudiera regresar a su casa.
And he did tell me that he does have a place to go. He can go and stay with his sister.
Él me dijo que sí tiene un lugar a donde ir, él puede ir y quedarse con su hermana.
Given the context that she is not afraid of him, I would ask for a signature bond.
Dado el hecho de que ella no le teme a él, quiero solicitar una fianza bajo firma.
And I'll let Ms. Pacina speak, if that's all right with you, Your Honor.
Y permitiré que la señora Pecina hable si eso está bien con usted, su señoría.
Yes, Ms. Pacina, if you'd like to address the court, I'll need for you to raise your right hand for me.
Señora Pecina, necesito que levante su mano derecha para hablar conmigo, para juramentarla.
Do you swear from the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
¿Usted jura o afirma que la declaración que está por dar será la verdad, toda la verdad y nada más que la verdad? ¿Lo jura?
Lo juro.
Please, sir, allow me to ask if she speaks English.
Okay.
Señora, ¿usted habla inglés para hablar con el juez?
Sí.
Okay, she does speaks English, so I'll be here. Just in
Okay.
case.
Yes, Ms. Pacina, good afternoon. What would you like to tell the court?
It's just like I told the officers, I don't know if he scratched me or when we were fighting, I scratched myself, but I mean, I got scratched.
Como le dije a los oficiales, su señoría, yo no sé si él me rasguñó a mí o yo a él durante la pelea.
No.
Pero yo terminé rasguñada.
Okay, it's my understanding that you do not want him back in the household at the present time. Is that correct?
Entiendo que usted no lo quiere de vuelta en la casa en este momento, ¿es correcto? I'm sorry, I think she said correct.
Okay, You're going in and out on us, Ms. Pacina. So can you find a location where you can properly address us?
I'm still at work, so it's and then my daughter called me.
Okay, we're not able to understand you, Ms. Pacina. You're gonna have to find a better location.
Va a tener que
Can
buscar
you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Okay. Would you like, what else would you like to tell the court, if anything?
I mean, I just want him to get like help because I feel like he has.
Can you speak closer to the microphone?
I said I just want him to get help.
Yo quiero que él reciba ayuda.
I just want him to get help because I feel like he imagines things which cause problems.
Yo quiero que reciba ayuda porque él imagina cosas lo que causa problemas.
And I mean, he is a good person. He just has demons inside him, and he is a good father.
Bueno, lo que quiero decir, él es una buena persona, él tiene demonios dentro de él, es un buen padre.
Okay, thank you for being here this afternoon, Ms. Pacina.
Gracias por estar aquí esta tarde, señora Pesina.
Anything further from counsel?
¿Algo más de la defensa? No.
Okay, as such, for the battery, it's going to be $1,000 good bond. For each of the cruelty to children, it will be a $500 good bond, makes for a total of a $2,000 good bond.
Entonces, por el cargo de golpes y lesiones va a ser una fianza bajo firma de $1,000. Por cada cargo de crueldad ante un menor serán $500 de fianza bajo firma, lo que da un total de $2,000 de fianza bajo firma.
No further violent contact with Ms. Pacina. Stay away from the Riverwood Lane address. He can go back to that address on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings.
No tener más contacto violento con la señora Pesina, mantenerse alejado de la residencia que está en Riverwood Lane. Él puede regresar a la casa en solo una ocasión con un oficial de la fuerza del orden para retirar sus pertenencias personales.
No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Y queda prohibido el uso de drogas, alcohol y armas mientras esté bajo fianza.
Good luck to you, sir.
Buena suerte, señor.
Una pregunta.
I have a question.
¿Puedo hacer una llamada para ver quién puede venir a pagar la fianza?
May I make a phone call to see who can come and post bond?
Miss
Señor,
Ryder, go ahead.
eso es algo que tiene que preguntar es a la cárcel. Ellos son los que pueden hacer eso con usted. El juez no puede hacer nada sobre eso.
Tiene que ser con un bond, ¿verdad?
Sí.
Ok. ¿Puede venir ella, o sea, mi esposa? A firmar, si quiere venir ella o...
No estoy segura. Usted puede llamarla porque no tienen que tener contacto violento. Sí pueden tener contacto, pero no contacto violento.
Sí, entiendo. Okay. O sea, puedo llamarla para ver si ella puede venir.
Sí, sí puede.
Ok, perfecto. Gracias.
Sí, señor.
Okay, do we need the assistance of Ms. Chancey for any other cases this afternoon?
No, Your Honor.
All right, very good. Thank you. We appreciate it, Ms. Chancey.
You're
We'll see you
welcome,
next time.
sir. Have a good evening.
You do the same.
Next, Your Honor, is gonna be position number 11, Ms. Tucker.
Okay. Good afternoon, Ms. Tucker. You have been charged in case 24 CR 007736F with battery family violence, criminal trespass, and damage to property, and simple battery family violence. It's my understanding that this is Ms. Tucker's first arrest. Yes, Ms. Allen.
Thank you, Your Honor. This is an incident from November the 20th at about 8:30 p.m. Police were called to 838 Hemingway Lane in Roswell. They were called to the location because of a dispute. On scene, both of the individuals involved were separated. The defendant, Mrs. Tucker, reported that she and her roommate had argued, but everything was fine. Officers observed that she had fresh marks on her arm and dried blood. She was asked about these injuries. Initially, she refused to answer the questions, but then admitted that there'd been a altercation in the doorway of her roommate's room. The victim is Gabrielle Williams. When the police spoke to the victim, he reported that the defendant had been banging on his bedroom door repeatedly. There had been an ongoing argument all day about bills. While speaking to him, it was observed that he had a laceration across the bridge of his nose and it was bleeding. He also had an abrasion to his right bicep on the inside of his arm. He told police that eventually the defendant kicked his bedroom door open and then grabbed him around his body like a bear hug, and they struggled. He ended up landing on his bed where, as she struck him, she cut him across his nose. She was also seen to have blood underneath her fingernails, and the bedroom door was seen to be indeed damaged and broken. We spoke to the victim today. He reports that he and the defendant are roommates. He confirmed what had just happened, that this is the first time there's been a physical altercation, and he says he's not in fear. He would like no violent contact, Your Honor. If you could sound for Mr. Gabrielle Williams, we're asking for a $2,000 SOB, Your Honor, through pretrial, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. And the state would request a stay away and no contact. But we understand that these individuals live together, so I'm just unclear. I'm going to leave that to your discretion. Perhaps the defense can offer some other insight.
Okay, Mr. Williams is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity to do so. Excuse me. Mr. McLean, is this your case? I'm not sure whose case this is. Mr. McLean, are you with me? It appears that he's talking to someone else on the line. Ms. Wright, is this Mr. McLean's case?
Yes,
Yes, I believe so.
it is.
Oh.
It
Yes,
is.
sir.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Well, it does not appear that Mr. McLean is with us right now, so can we
Mike,
go on?
can you hear us? I'm so sorry, Your Honor.
No, you're fine. I think that he's speaking with position number one. I know that he was going to do something with that case.
I have one more person in the calendar if Your Honor would like to hear it.
I'll bring him up.
Okay, thank you.
Your Honor, this is going to be position number 7, Mr. Terry Jules.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Jules. You have been charged in case 24 CR 007742G with simple battery, criminal trespass, and terroristic threats and acts. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
He got 54. He's been in custody since the 8th of this month. 2 probation holds, an open criminal damage to property. 24 SC 004154. Open terroristic threats, trespass. 2024 simple assault conviction. That's it.
Thank you. Ms. McConkey?
Yes, Your Honor. This incident occurred August 29th, 2024. The incident location is a Town Place Suites located at 7925 West Side Parkway in Alpharetta. The victim in this case is Mr. Charles Rayford, who is a manager of the property. The defendant had received a criminal trespass warning from the location on April 1st of 2024. He returned to the location and was observed walking around the parking lot looking into vehicles. He was told to leave by Mr. Rayford since he wasn't a guest at the hotel. The defendant then told the victim that he was going to kill him after work, proceeded to punch the victim in the face, and then ran off. There was a witness on the scene by the name of Michelle who witnessed the incident. The defendant then returned back to the property and was rummaging around the hotel garbage cans, and that is when the police were called. The state's recommendation, given his numerous arrest cycles, is a $1,000 good bond on the simple battery, a $1,000 good bond on the terroristic threats, a $500 good bond on the criminal trespass. There is a high likelihood that he will reoffend if released. Stay away from the incident location. No further contact with Charles Rayford. No drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond. If he hasn't already gotten a social worker visit at this point, we would ask that he receive one.
You're muted, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. McConkey, I believe that pretrial said that he's been in custody since the 8th. What's he in custody for? Do we know?
Yeah, I'm looking to see if he was in custody on this case, if he was already in custody and then these charges came through after the fact.
My understanding is that when he was in on a probation situation. He was about to be released, I think yesterday. And then jail folks caught that he had a warrant. But they should have caught it before. He's been incarcerated this whole time. I am going to ask for a signature bond.
Okay, and is he on probation at the present time?
I don't believe so. I think it was terminated, but I'm not very sure.
Okay.
And I think it might have been misdemeanor probation.
Okay.
Mr. Howard, do you know if he's still on probation currently? I can take a look.
Are you still on probation? Misdemeanor probation?
They still show open out of Mather. Hold on.
If it was yesterday, it's going to take a few days.
Was he transferred here? If he was.
He got arrested on the probation, and these charges got added.
So he was being held on his probation violation, and then these charges were added later on, but he was never originally held or in jail on these charges.
Hold on, let me see this document tab.
I think the warrants were, let me see. I think I have an email.
Okay, the additional charge packet, the EWs came on the 20th, which was yesterday.
The what?
So he was booked in on the 8th, probation warrants, and these charges hit Odyssey yesterday. They added these yesterday.
But the warrants were signed on the 15th, correct?
I don't know. Let me see. Yeah, by Alpharetta PD.
And I guess my question was, is he still on probation, or what is he on probation for?
Hold on. He was originally on probation for disorderly conduct, pedestrian roadway, failed to obey traffic control device. He got put on probation for that back in June.
Okay.
Now, we don't know what happened yesterday.
Okay.
They
All right.
haven't
Yes.
updated.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Howard. Yes, Ms. Wright. Anything further?
No, Your Honor, nothing further.
Okay. I need for him to have a social worker visit. I don't want to just put him back out without getting some assistance. So at this point in time, it'll be a $500 good bond per charge, makes for a total of a $1,500 good bond. No further contact with Mr. Rayford. Stay away from the West Side Parkway address. A social worker visit to address housing concerns or any other concerns that he might have. no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. And if he does not get out, Ms. Wright, I'll see him back on December 5th and take a look at the bond and hopefully we'll have a social worker visit by that time.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Good luck to you, Mr. Jules. Okay, Mr. McLean is back with us.
Un momento, amigo.
And tell me again, I'm sorry, what position was this?
This is gonna be position number 11, Ms. Tucker.
Okay.
So Mr. McLean, I just went through information about Mrs. Tucker and position 11. Do you need me to go through that again?
Mr. McLean, you're gonna have to, Mr. McLean, you're gonna have to be responsive to court. Mr. McLean. Mr. McLean. Mr. McLean.
Okay, I'm back, Your Honor.
Okay, I know that you have other business going on there, but we have business to conduct here also, okay? So we went through your entire client without realizing that you were not with us. This is position number 11, Ms. Tucker. Okay?
Miss Tucker over here, Your Honor, yes. Your Honor, she has a high school education. She works as an Amazon driver for the last 4 years. This is I believe, a first arrest. Is that correct?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Would not object to a signature bond. I bet the state probably proposed that.
Okay, do you have any information on the alleged victim, Mr. Gabriel Williams?
I only saw his name in the police report. I don't have any more information on him than what's in the police report.
Okay, so the state had asked for a signature bond through pretrial, but was concerned about a stay away and a no further contact. So I wanted to know if you had any enlightenment on that.
We do not, Your Honor. We have not been in touch with him.
Okay, well, the state had been in touch with him and he said that he didn't fear her. So if nothing further from counsel, given that this is Ms. Tucker's first arrest, for the battery, there'll be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. For the criminal trespass, a $500 signature bond through pretrial level 1. For the simple battery, a $500 signature bond through pretrial level 1. Makes for a total of a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. 1-day anger awareness. No further violent contact with Mr. Williams, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Very good.
Good luck to you, Ms. Tucker.
Next, Your Honor, we're gonna go to position number 3, Mr. Aiden DeBruin.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. DeBruin. You have been charged in case 24 CR 007738F with battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
4. They on probation and foresight for drug. 2022 probation, 2018 suspended license. That's it.
Ms. McCockey?
Yes, Your Honor. This incident occurred yesterday at 13085 Morris Road in Milton. The victim in this case is Trinity Smith, who lives with the defendant. The defendant is accused of slapping the victim in the face during an argument. The victim's friend, Miss Alexis Dodds, was present at the time and also witnessed the assault. Officers did observe that the victim's face was red and it appeared as though she had been hit. The state's recommendation for this defendant is a signature bond through pretrial services, that he have no further contact with Miss Trinity Smith, that he stay away from that incident location, undergo some anger awareness, and have no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond. I would ask the court to sound for Ms. Trinity Smith if she is on the Zoom. You're on mute, Your Honor.
If Ms. Smith is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. Does not appear so. Mr. McLean?
No objection.
Okay. It'll be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. 1-day anger awareness. No further contact with Ms. Smith. Stay away from the Morris Road address. He can go back to that address if necessary on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, sir.
Your Honor, I have one quick question. For position number 1, Ms. Nicole Braithwaite, is she still gonna be heard today, or is it gonna be?
Let me ask Mr. McLean. Mr. McLean, were you able to get any further information on this matter for us?
I got hold of the mother and we did a 3-way call with the sister and the mom and me, and she's going to try to get Ridgeview to give an acceptance letter so that we can go right back to where we were before.
Okay, so we need to reschedule this for tomorrow.
Definitely.
Okay, all right, thank you. So we will reschedule Ms. Braithwaite for tomorrow.
And I will be here for that, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Falk. I appreciate you staying around this afternoon as well. Thank you.
And that does conclude my business. May I be excused?
Yes, I'll see you next time.
Thank you. Have a good day.
See you tomorrow.
Okay.
Gonna be position number 10, Mr. Keenan Thorne.
Good afternoon, Mr. Thorne. You have been charged in case 24 CR 007735G with driving under the influence of alcohol per se and speeding. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Second, 2023 DUI out of Albany. That's open. It appears to be. That's it.
Sal?
Thank you, Your Honor. This is an incident from the 21st, so this morning at about 1 a.m. Northbound 400 and North Ridge Drive in Sandy Springs. The defendant was observed speeding. He was tracked at going 82 miles an hour in a 55 zone in the 3rd lane, passing other vehicles at a high rate of speed. A traffic stop was initiated. The defendant identified himself, said he was going home from a friend's house. He was observed to have bloodshot, watery eyes and an odor of alcohol, but he denied drinking anything. He got out of the vehicle to perform field sobriety. He was arrested for less safe, Your Honor, and when implied consent was read, he agreed to submit to a breath test. That was done at the Georgia Tech Police Department, and he blew over. So the arrest was made, Your Honor. He does have that open Albany case. And his speeding history is significant. His driver's history includes multiple suspensions for failure to appear after getting speeding tickets, the most recent at the end of November 2023. We'd be asking for a $3,000 surety, Your Honor. Absolutely no driving and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond.
Okay, Mr. McLean?
I may have misheard the clerk. Was the prior arrest in Albany, was that speeding only or speeding DUI?
DUI is my understanding.
Okay. Your Honor, my client is 3 years into Kennesaw State University in communications. So he's going to get a bachelor's degree next year. He's 22 years old, 23 years old now. He's worked at the baseball field. I believe he would mean by that Truist Field, parking cars. He's worked at stocking merchandise at Walmart. He is now a full-time student at school. For that through his own savings and a loan and a little help from his parents. So right now he's not working, but we would ask the court to take these industriousness signs from him as part of its decision. We ask for the lowest bond that's legally possible for a second arrest of that. Thank you.
All right, for the speeding, it'll be a $500 good bond. For the DUI, it'll be a $1,500 good bond, makes for a total of a $2,000 good bond. No driving, at the present time, since you're telling me he's not working, and only going to school, then he should be able to maintain his schoolwork. I believe it's, that an alcohol drug evaluation, is in order at this point in time, so an ADET, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Thorne.
In a situation, he be allowed limited permit to drive to school?
Does he need to drive? Does he need to drive? I mean, is he living
not-
on campus, or is he living in a place that he needs to drive to get to school?
It looks like he's living well off campus on Roswell Road, but KSU's up there in Kennesaw.
No driving except to go to and from classes at where? Kennesaw State?
Yes,
Okay.
to and fro, Mr. Thorne. You understand the distinction?
Yes, sir.
You can go to and from school.
Yes, sir.
That's it.
Good luck to you, Mr. Thorne.
All right, I have a few-
There's already been an administrative license suspension related to
Okay.
this.
Well,
Never mind.
if they've already suspended his license, then
There you go.
that's up to them.
That's right.
Okay.
Your Honor, I have a few announcements.
Okay.
Position number 2, that's gonna be a medical reset. She's on, SOS2 watch. I know you don't know what that means, suicide watch.
Yes, sir.
All right.
So we'll reset them until tomorrow.
Yes, yeah.
And Your Honor, I will be sending medical resets and mental health resets, social workers as well.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Wright.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. Wright. Might
Yes,
need
sir.
it. Position number 6, Jacqueline Holmes, that's another MH reset.
Okay, 11/22 reset.
Yeah, that's another suicide watch. Position number 8, I know you guys already know about this. Mr. Middleton is still in Grady.
Okay, so 11/22, I guess.
And position number 12 and position number 13, that's another MH reset. That's Craig Washington.
Okay, also 11/22. Okay, that completes the calendar then?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see, Ms. Bridgewater.
Yes, sir. Okay, once again, the reset date for the SAP calendar is December the 5th. Position number 1 is going to be reset till tomorrow's calendar. Position number 2 is reset till tomorrow's calendar. Position number 3 is reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through pretrial. Position 4 is going to the SAP calendar with a $2,000 good bond. Position 5, SAP calendar with a total $2,000 good bond. 6 is being reset till tomorrow. 7 is going to the SAP calendar with a total $1,500 good bond. 8 is reset till tomorrow. 9 is reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through pretrial. 10 is going to the SAP calendar with a total $2,000 good bond. 11, reset further notice with a total $3,000 SOB through pretrial. 12 and 13 are being reset till tomorrow. And position 14 is going to the SAP calendar with a total $3,000 good bond. Are there any questions, comments, or otherwise? No.
Okay,
Thank you.
very good. Y'all have a
Very,
good
very
rest.
good.
Good rest of your day. I'll see y'all next week.
Okay.
Take
Thank
care.
you, Your Honor. Thank you, everyone.
Yes.
You're welcome.